minutes or so. Do I need to do the introductions again, or is that everybody who has been here before? That's okay. We'll start from the beginning because I can see the recording getting started. So I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yes, good. Cool. So just for the benefit of the recording, I'll go over what we did super quickly. So welcome to our Dynamics 365 marketing and Forms Pro, not Forms Pro customer voice session. The reason that we have it crossed out is because Microsoft made an announcement last week, and they're saying that customer voice is the new survey capability tool that's getting released. A bit more about me. My name is Dilyana Radulova. People normally call me Didi. I am a customer engagement consultant with Incremental Group. I've been a CRM consultant for the past 7 years or so, different CRM systems. In my spare time, I like to get involved with the community as much as possible because I really like talking about marketing. As you guys might have noticed already, I try to create some useful content. I'm sure the links will be in the chat afterwards. If you want to get in touch, definitely get in touch. I try to speak to as many events as I can. And when I'm not doing that, I like to do a lot of taekwondo stuff. So I like to kick people, but they always kick you back. So that is fair, right? So that is me, Incremental Group. We are a gold partner, Inner Circle for the past 2 years. We got our Inner Circle membership announced just a few days ago last week. So with this, we are going to skip the quick question because we have already had a chat of what you guys know of marketing. It's really good to see that some people have used it. It's really good to have people who haven't, because it means that we'll have the whole range, and it means that we'll get good feedback of whether what I'm showing you makes sense, because I don't want to target only people who have used it before. I want everybody, because I really believe everybody can get it and it's really easy. So definitely good to have different range of people with different experiences in the audience. So thank you for sharing your experience with marketing earlier, guys. In terms of customer voice, so we briefly spoke about that earlier. We were saying that the question we normally get from customers these days, or within the last week after the announcement, was what is happening if you are on it. At the moment, for what we know, is if you're a current Forms Pro user, nothing changes for you this month, so July. In the beginning of August, Microsoft will transition all users, so all Forms Pro users, to customer voice. You will have all of your surveys shifted to the new. It's a new portal. It has new look and feel because it's a company that Microsoft bought, and it's built on top of that. So you're going to have your surveys transitioned. You're going to have your responses transitioned as well, and you're going to have your questions obviously transitioned, so you shouldn't lose any of your data. This will happen in the beginning of August, and then mid-August after mid-August, Microsoft will launch the preview of customer voice. So I think that's when it gets exciting, because that's when we get to play with it. So I think the recommendation now is, if you're to start using Forms Pro, probably the best thing, the easiest thing to do is hold off and start using customer voice when it becomes available in preview. it will just make the transition easier. If you're using Forms Pro already, don't worry, because there is a transition path for you. I have given you the link here to the announcement, so I'm sure we'll share the slides later if you want to read up a bit more on customer voice. It is from a licensing model. Again, we don't know too much, but we know, just like Forms Pro, a number of responses were included as part of your enterprise subscription. I think this will be the case, for what we know, this will be the case with customer voice as well. In terms of customer voice, do you guys have any questions? I don't promise to be able to answer them all, but I definitely want us to have a conversation if you do.
I've not really looked at it
No
since it's changed, so I can't, I don't have any questions right now, but I might get in touch with you once I've had a good look at it, if that's okay.
100%, because yeah, we are all finding our feet with it, so we're all learning together, so definitely we can exchange knowledge. I think my biggest ask was for the hashtag, because I'm very big on hashtags. So for example, we were using Forms Pro. Now I think it's hashtag customer voice. I hope we get some clarity on what the right hashtag to be using for the customer voice implementation is soon. That's something I'm looking forward to. And if we don't have any other questions on customer voice, what I wanted to do with this slide is I wanted to put together a slide with all of the different capabilities and functionality that marketing has. So as you can see there, it's split into 5 categories: data analytics, campaigns, communication, and AI features. And the point of this, having this on the screen in front of you, is 1 hour is usually not enough to show you everything. So it's just to give you the confidence that, as you can imagine from a marketing software, Dynamics 365 marketing can do all of those things like A/B testing, like all of the insights, lead scoring, and it also usually showing that slide to people is a good conversation starter. So if there is something on that list that you really want us to talk about or that you feel excited about, definitely do share that probably. What I want to do next is I want to explain or to share with you why the integration that we are going to talk to and the one that I'm going to show you in that session between Dynamics 365 marketing and customer voice, or formerly known as Forms Pro, is really exciting, because it is exciting because it solves a real problem. So we had Voice of the Customer before, which was the Microsoft survey tool. Then that got deprecated, which meant that for a while we had no supported way. As you can see here, there was no supported way to run non-anonymous surveys. And surveys feedback is very big. It's a very big part of marketing. There were things we could do around it. So there were strategies of how to and workarounds how to overcome that, but there wasn't an out of the box way to do that. So then in terms of timeline, customer voice gets deprecated. Then we have marketing. We can run campaigns, but we can only do non-anonymous surveys. Then Forms Pro was announced to get integrated with marketing. It was on the roadmap for a while. And we finally got it released with the last release. So what was it? April. Yeah, so that's where we are now. We have the integration, and I just want to show you how to set it up. It took me some time. I struggled with it. I'll show you the few bits I struggled with. So I just want to share that so that you don't have to struggle with. In terms of challenge, does it make sense? What problem we have a solution to now? And go and show you the technical bits. But conceptually, does it make sense?
Yep.
Yep, good. Hopefully it makes sense to everybody. Don't be shy, guys. Let's have a chat. So Forms Pro, I haven't updated all of my slides. I thought it was enough to update the first one because, yeah, because the path is not happening at the moment. So that's why this slide hasn't been updated. What it is, you probably have a good idea by now. We've been speaking about it for a bit, but it is a feedback management solution. It provides survey capabilities, and it is built on top of Microsoft Forms, which you're probably familiar with. It allows you to create both surveys and quizzes. The difference between a survey and a quiz is that in a quiz, there is a right answer. In a survey, any answer is the right answer. So that's the difference. And as you probably know already, I like scenarios. I think the easiest way to show anything, to showcase a functionality, is by telling a story. Stories I love. So we're going to look at Alfonso and Didi's ice cream company. We have an ice cream company. it's it's a fictitious scenario, but we have an ice cream company. We have had an ice cream party where we've been giving away ice cream. We want to launch a new ice cream, and we just want to know what people liked, what people didn't like, and hopefully this will help us develop our new product. But the segment we are targeting is people who have come to that event, because I think hopefully this gives you the opportunity to ask me things about event management as well if you want to. We weren't going to cover event management as part of this. I just want to expose you to the fact that Dynamics 365 marketing has very strong event management capabilities that helps you manage the logistics of your event end to end. So do we have a question? We now have, so Dominic is saying we now have customer voice where we used to have voice of the customer. Yes, exactly. Well, so Dominic, I think now you know why you probably feel my pain with hashtags. It gets really confusing, and yeah, it gets confusing with naming conventions. But yes, that's you got it right. And we had, just for completeness, we had a Forms Pro in between those two. So this is how our Forms Pro portal looks like. And hopefully we have an event at the group of people we are targeting, and we want to know what they think. I'm going to show you how to build all of the different building blocks to achieve that mission, to build that campaign. The first thing, I can see bad quality, but hopefully you can still hear me. Give me a shout if it doesn't, if you can't hear me or see my screen. But yeah, I'm going to show you all of the different building blocks. The first one is we need a survey that we're going to distribute to our target group of users. And this is the Forms Pro portal. That's where if I wanted to create a new survey, I would just do it here. But I have already created one for you. As you can see, Forms Pro, it's nice. It's really easy to use. You can make it very colorful. That's why customers and end users normally really like it. You could add your logo, so you can make it branded. You can have your brand colors if you want. You can have background pictures that make sense to you, your company, your business, and you can have different question types. And I you different questions just to give you a flavor of the different types you can have. So you can have radio buttons, you can have a drop down. Yeah, you can have the ones that where you need to rank them in a particular order. Who knew you could have smiley faces in a rating question? I discovered that recently and I thought it was extremely exciting. We can add pictures to our questions as well as part of a survey. We can have the NPS questions, Net Promoter Score. We can have date questions. And as I was saying, the good thing with Forms Pro is that you physically cannot get too many things wrong because it's so simple and easy to use. If you want to add a new question, all you need to do is add it from here. And that is basically it for the survey part. If I preview it, you can also see how it looks like on different devices. So this is how it would look to my users and customers on a computer, on a desktop. You can also see and preview how it would look like on a mobile as well. So this is in terms of the Forms Pro bed. Probably another thing just to mention for completeness, you can distribute. For our scenario, we're going to distribute it as part of a marketing campaign, so a marketing customer journey. But I just want to make survey. You don't have to send it from a marketing customer journey. You can send it in a number of different ways. You can send it as an email. Customers these days seems to really like QR code, so you can scan a QR code link, or you can embed it on your website webpage as well, if that's what you want to do. In terms of the survey, does that make sense? Because the next thing that we'll do is I'm just going to jump to the marketing campaign, next building block of building our campaign. But in terms of is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Does it make sense to everybody?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Do you like my purple, guys?
Yeah, we like the ice creams as well.
Yeah, very bright.
Yeah.
Good.
Next time you have an ice cream party, you can invite us, right?
Anytime. Yeah, the one I did a few months ago was a foam party event, so that was even better. I don't know, foam party or ice cream party. What's better? I can't decide. I think because it's really
Ice
hot
cream.
here, I'll probably go to an ice cream one
Yeah,
and just
definitely ice
no.
cream.
Yeah. Yeah, or both. Just do a foam ice cream party if that's a thing. Um, okay, back to marketing. This is how our marketing application looks like in terms of look and feel. I would probably imagine it looks very familiar to what you're used to because it's just the same as any other model-driven app, native model-driven app that you might have seen like sales or customer service. It's built on top of the new interface because as you can see, you have all of your links on the left. So yeah, new interface, future-proof, and yeah, so in terms of look and feel, it's easy to train people to use it, especially if they're already using a different part of the Microsoft. It's the same. But of in terms of the integration with Forms Pro, the first thing, once you start setting it up, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure it's enabled. Because you have the option, I don't know why you would, but you have the option to not enable it. When you create your environment, it's disabled by default. So what you need to do is you need to click on your settings here at the top where you have your different pages. And you need to click on the settings and you need to find your feature switches. And you need to enable it here. Yeah, so unless you have done that, you are not going to see the tiles or the building blocks that I'm going to show you shortly. So if you think the Form Pro integration doesn't work, enable your feature, and I think yeah, it definitely will. Once you have enabled it, Then this is your marketing instance configured or integrated in a way. So the next building block we need for our ice cream campaign is an email because we want to send, yeah, so the plan was we're going to target all of the people who went to that event and we're going to send them an email with an invitation to fill in our survey. And this is what I have shown you here. Emails in marketing, I'll show you in a minute, but they're really easy to make. You can add pictures, you can add different colors, you can add your logo, you can add smiley faces, you can you can jazz it out as much as you like, and it's all drag and drop, so it's really easy to do as well. You could have your dynamic content. So for example, in the title of my email has the name of my customer, but it can have any piece of information that you have against your contact in your database. And you can also show and hide or display different sections, the different building blocks, depending on things that you know about your customer. So if you know they like ice cream, you can show them an ice cream picture. If you know they like beer, you can show them a beer picture or anything else they like. So this is the important part here. My email has a link, and clicking that link will take us to the survey that I showed you already. So now you guys know how to configure that email if you wanted to use the integration. In here we have the email designer, and that's what I mean by saying that it's really simple and easy to configure. So we can have all sorts of different sections in our email, and to get a new section or a new component, all we need to do is find it in the toolbox and drag and drop it onto the email. The important part, as you might imagine by judging by the title of the section of the session we are doing, is this tile here. And this is what you are not going to get. So you're not going, that tile, that box is not going to get displayed unless you enable it in the settings section first. But in terms of our scenario, so step one in terms of the email would be create your email with your branding and colors and picture the way you like it. And then what you need to do is you need to add a Forms Pro survey onto your email. And to do that, what you need to do is to drag and drop it. And then once you do that, you need to say what survey you want this button to be linked to. And again, that's really easy to do because it is a lookup, and that lookup looks up to all of your surveys you have created in your Forms Pro portal. So it just knows. So now that's my survey. So you would pick your survey, and that's your email configured. Then obviously you need to check for errors and go live, which is standard functionality for getting an email ready to be sent to customers. Unless our email has been validated and live, we are not going to be able to use it as part of a customer journey. So at this point, just to recap, we have created our survey in Forms Pro. We have enabled our Forms Pro integration within the marketing app. We have created a marketing email, and we have added a Forms Pro tile onto our marketing email, and we have linked it to the survey that we wanted to link to. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
I know we're going a bit quick, but hopefully it makes sense with the scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Good. Cool. Is there anybody that is struggling to follow? Is it too quick for anybody? Because we can recap. No? Cool. We're all good. Okay. So once we have got to here, the next bit or the last bit as part of our campaign is a customer journey. Oh, we might have a question. No, that's fine. Good, Dominic. So the next part is customer journey. And as Raz was saying with his really good overview of customer journeys beforehand, before the session, customer journeys are just our campaigns, and that's where we define all of the different touch points we want to be having with our customers. It's recorded, good. Yeah, so customer journeys is where we define all of the different touch points we want to have with our customers. A customer journey normally starts with a segment, and a segment, this is not actually the customer journey I want to show you. I want to show you my live one. Yeah, this one. So it looks pretty similar to the other one that we just looked at. So that's just the one I have run. So I want to show you how we can see what has been happening as well. So looking at our ice cream party customer journey, it normally starts with a segment, and segment is where we criteria for the people that we want. In this case, we said it's going to be all of the people who have come to our ice cream party. And as we said, the second they satisfy the criteria, it means they'll jump in the segment. And if our customer journey is live, which means it has been validated and it's processing customers, the next thing it will happen is they'll start hopping through the different tiles that we have defined on our customer. I can show you the whole customer journey, but I don't think it will be too small to see. But that's how it looks like. It's got loads of different boxes, and it just defines the path you want to send your customers on, depending on what they do. And I'll show you how that looks like. So in terms of our scenario, we have our segment, which is the group of people who have been to that event. We have the next thing we want to do is we want to send them that email with our the email we just made, which has the Forms Pro button in the email. The one important thing here is you need to have that Forms Pro link here. And if I just want to show you, so as we said, customer processing customers, or they can be in a draft state. So I just want to once the customer journey is live, you can change it. So that's why I can show you the Forms Pro tile. But if I go to one that's not live, I will be able to. So if we go back to my Diddy's Beach Bar customer journey, which is not live. So this is the important part. This is not a live customer journey. That's why we get the toolbox. And the toolbox is where we can drag and drop the different touch points to design the different components to design our customer journey. And as you can imagine, the one that we are mostly interested in is the Forms Pro one. Again, if you don't enable your integration that I showed you in step one, this is not going to show. So it might make you think that it's not working, but it does show after you enable your integration. One thing that I did do wrong the first time I tried, so that's why I want to share. For me, the logical thing to do initially I thought was to drag and drop this onto my customer journey, but this is the wrong thing to do. So the way the integration is meant to work is all you need to do is you need to drag and drop your email tile, and then you need your Forms Pro within that email. So you don't want it as a separate box. You want it dropped on top of your email so that it shows. Now we have done it twice, but you get the idea. You need it as part of the email. So yeah, that's just a lessons learned. So if we go back to the journey that is live, so that's what we have here. I have my email that I'm sending, and I have added my Forms Pro tile as part of that email, email part of the journey campaign as well. then what we are saying is once we have sent the email, all of the customers that have gone through that journey. So in here 4, that's what those numbers that I wanted to show you mean. It just shows you how many people have gone through that stage. So 4 people were part of my segment. It wasn't a big ice cream party. 4 people he received, and the email might look like this. Is the one I showed you earlier. So they have received that. Then the next thing that will happen, and Alfonso was one of them. So just to follow the scenario, Alfonso has been to the party, he has received the email. Then what we want to do as part of our customer journey is we want to target our customers. We want to be a bit more personal depending on things they do. So we don't want to have one size fits all principle. So what we'll do is we can add a trigger to our customer journey, which actually checks whether the Alfonso has opened the email or not. So as you can see here, I have sent it for customers received the email, so came to that tile. Only 1 opened it and 3 didn't. So this is my no, the one at the bottom is my condition not met branch, and this one here at the top is my condition met branch. So what we are saying here is 4 people came in. I know that Alfonso was the one that came on this branch because he opened it. What we are saying is, for example, and that's just an example one, you can be as creative as you want in your customer journey. What we are saying here is, if we have sent the email and they haven't opened it, then give them, so we can define a time frame as well. So we are saying if they haven't opened it for 5 days or so, just resend the email, send them a reminder. Or if they have, then what we want to do is we might want to check whether, so they have opened the email, so then we can check first, have they opened the survey? Have they submitted the survey? Do we have happy customers or not happy customers? And this is based on the feedback they have submitted. As part of the integration between Forms Pro and marketing, you get different conditions out of the box. So that's what I have used here. I have said the condition for this branch, for the yes branch, is only customers who have submitted feedback to my, so answered my form, submitted feedback, and given me a rating of 5 for my the question I showed you with the smiley faces. So these are the customers that are happy customers. Why is this useful and powerful? Because that gives us the capability to deal with people with different feeling differently about our business. So the happy customers, we'll go over the smart scheduler in a minute, but the happy customers, we are going to just send a thank you email and a voucher because they like us, they are likely to buy more from us. The unhappy customers, we want to treat in a different way, and that gives us the capability to do so. Because for them, what we can do is we can, for example, schedule up an activity automatically as part of the customer journey, and we can schedule a follow-up task or a phone call to just get in touch and see how we can fix that relationship. Again, I'm conscious we are going over a customer journey a bit quick and it's a lot to take on, but does it make sense so far?
Looks great.
I don't see any questions, so I have either lost everybody or everything is clear. So let's assume everything makes sense. So I promise to tell you about the smart scheduler because that's probably one of my favorite features, and that's one of the artificial intelligence AI bets that, if you remember, we had in my diagram with the different capabilities Dynamics Marketing has. What it does is it knows, so it gets better. It's like a kid, it gets better the more you teach it. So the more it learns, it gets better. And what it does is it analyzes, so in terms of Alfonso, it will analyze all of the emails we have sent him, and it will know when he likes to open them. For example, here I can define a 5-day window, a 5 days interval window, and it will find the best time for Alfonso personally. When, for example, let's say Alfonso has opened all of the emails my ice cream company has sent him at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. It probably means there is no point sending him any emails on a Friday night because he doesn't check it. So what this will do is it will wait until Monday morning, 9 o'clock, and send the email at the most open, at the most, at the best time for him. Why is this powerful? Because it really helps with engagement rate and click-through rates, opening rates, because it just means that the emails don't get lost in people's inboxes when they're not really ready to have a look. So yeah, definitely a really cool feature, super easy to use. It's kind of similar to the flick switch I showed you with Forms Pro. You need to enable it. Once you have enabled it, then you can just start using it in your customer journey. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're just saying for all of our happy customers, we want to send them a thank you email with a voucher at the best time for them. And I think this is, in terms of customer journey and the campaign, this is the end of the campaign. So it's not a very complex campaign, but I just wanted to give you an overview and a flavor of all of the different things that you can do as part of a campaign. Did that make some sense in terms of the campaign and the way we built it?
Yeah, definitely. It's good.
Cool. So good. I'm glad it's kind of makes sense. Good. More people are saying it makes sense. There is just a few more bits and bobs I wanted to show you just so that you see the whole overall picture of how we use it. I think the next thing I was going to show you is so now we saw that for for people want feedback from. If I go back to my Forms Pro portal and I have, because I'm the owner of the survey, I can also have that admin view so I can see what has been happening with my responses. I can see I have 4 invitations sent. I can see that only 1 person responded. We know it's Alfonso, and it also does a bit of AI analysis as well for you. So we have that here. We can dig deeper. If you wanted to see the responses, we can see them from within the Forms Pro portal. But more importantly and more excitingly, you can also see them from within marketing. So this is the integration bit as well. This is what completes the picture. We have Alfonso as a contact in my marketing system. And what has happened without me having to do anything, just because he went through that customer journey, because he got the invitation to fill in the form, to submit the survey, then this entity got created here in his timeline. So we, out of the box, it added the survey invite to his profile, and then later on when he replied, it also added um, the survey voice response entity to the timeline well. And I just want to show you how they look like. The reason why this is powerful is because they show here, which means they are in, I was going to call it common data surveys. So they're in Data Flex Pro, which is the backend behind the system, which means you can use them for loads of different things. You can have Power Automate to modify them. You can have loads of logic on the back of them, or analysis on the back of them as well, which could be quite useful for sentiment analysis or more advanced follow-ups to your campaigns. But yeah, that's how a customer voice survey response looks like. It has a link to the survey, it has a link to your contact, and one of my favorite things as well is you can also see a visual representation of how they filled in your survey. So as you can see, it has all of your questions and it has the answers as well, which is something that customers normally really like because it's good to have. So we have all of those questions and answers in a table as well. But we all know customers like things to be visual. So having that in a visual form really makes a difference. So this was the customer voice survey that I was going to show you. And I just well my customer voice invite response. So again, it has all of the information that you would expect. It has a link to the customer and it has a link to the survey. Does that make sense? So does it make sense why this is important? Because and how that gives us that 360 view of everything that has happened with Alfonso at that point?
Yep.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having seen that, probably the last thing I wanted to show you. So that's another bit. That's another part. Thank you, Dominic. It's not over yet. I have 2 more minutes and 2 more things to show you. So you need to bear with me for 2 more minutes. So the last bit I was going to show you is you can also use Forms Pro criteria as part of segments. And this is not that relevant to the scenario I'm showing you just now, but if we say we want to run a campaign which only targets the people who responded a specific thing to one question next month, we would need to create a segment, and out of the box, now having the integration complete, you get all of those criteria that you can use just for free. So here I'm saying I want to get all of the customers. So segments always resolve to contacts because we're going to run a campaign with them, and that's what we need to target as part of a customer journey or a campaign. So what we are saying here is we want to get all of the contacts that have answered our survey. That's the name of our survey. And so let's say I want to, the specific question I'm interested in as part of this example is which flavor of ice cream is your favorite? Let's say the first answer was chocolate. So let's say I want to target next month, I want to target all of the customers that like chocolate ice cream. That's how I would do it. So you can also use the answers people give you as part of their responses to target them in a segment for your next campaign. Does that make sense? Okay, so we good.
Yep.
So we
Sorry.
have one. That's okay. We have one question. I have a few more slides to show you, but I would much rather look at the questions first, rather than show you the few slides in the end. Could you please demonstrate dashboard, summary, reporting part, and export? I probably can. So I think what we want to have a look at, if we go back to my contact, so there are a number of different types, number of different ways where you can get visibility, what has happened with your contacts. So we can get the survey responses in their timeline. Another thing that you want to be looking at if you're interested in reporting is the Insights tab. Insights tab you get as part of every marketing specific entity. So you would have that Insights tab for your contacts, you would have them for customer journeys, for emails, and that just gives you more information. It gives you more information for the specific thing. In this case is a contact. So here you can see it's broken down into different groups. Probably the one that we have seen customers using most is the interaction timeline, because that gives you a timeline of exactly what happened to that person and when. So in this case, he's only been opening and clicking through. If I had a redirect URL link in that email, then that would have shown up if they have filled in a form as marketing form or as part of that email campaign. That would have shown if they have been to an event or signed up for an event or canceled an event. This would show up here as well. So this is a timeline of everything that has happened, which is quite powerful from a reporting point of view. You again have it broken down per different different categories, quality. I don't know if that's enough in terms of dashboards because there's so many different. So that Insights tab is all to do with dashboards. There are many different dashboards. So we can have a look at some more if you want to have a look at more. But the second part of the question was to do with the export. So this is another new cool thing that got added as part of it in one of the waves. So the Microsoft releases updates they do twice a year. So now they have given us the capability to export all of that behavioral data and either analyze it further or pass it to a different department or do whatever we need to with it. So now what we can do is we can click that export to CSV and you can see how it has downloaded the file and it gives you, yeah, so that's my email. I probably don't want to expand that. You probably have it already, but yeah, so that's how the export works. You can every time where you see that symbol, you can export the behavioral. So here is what browser they have opened it in. So any dashboard that has that symbol, you can export from. Is that what you kind of wanted me to show you, Gulshan? Was that the question? I think so. I'll take silence as a yes. And I will quickly show you my last two slides. So we did the demo. I just wanted to, yes, and collective reporting as well, please. How do you mean? You might need to give me a bit more information about that one. I don't think I understand the question. Total number of customer in X campaign who rate our service. Good, excellent, and then drill down. I feel like I need to reread that again. Can we handle that offline or after that, Goshan? Because I feel like I'll run out. Thank you. So Goshan is saying sure. I just don't want to confuse people by trying to understand and then misunderstanding what you're asking me. In terms of the last two slides I was going to show you, I just wanted to draw your awareness around some key dates that are coming. So we're past that point so the release plans are out and available. Beginning of August, exciting because we are getting early access available to the new functionality that we are going to get in October, and beginning of October is when all of the new functionalities become generally available. There are many new things coming in, so I'm sure there will be plenty to show you after the beginning of August. Probably my favorite one is around the integration or the advanced social capabilities. From what we have seen in the release plan, we think we are going to get something around social media analytics around how your posts are doing. So now as part of Dynamics marketing, you can schedule your post and post it to, let's say, Twitter. I think we're going to be able to get some advanced analytics from within the app, how your post has been performing, which is quite cool and exciting. marketing. I have done a few blogs, so I have just put the links here if you want to go and have a look. And I think that was all I was going to tell you today. Do we have any questions, guys?
Awesome, Dilyana. There is a question by Gulshan
Good.
regarding the reporting, and I know you showed the reporting. Just to add to that, there is also some Microsoft Power BI dashboards that you can also download as well, in addition to the ones that you get inside of marketing. So if you've got very advanced Power BI dashboards, guys, if you just go onto GitHub, just Google Dynamics Marketing. Dilyana, are you able to just share your screen and show that link on GitHub? If you just Google Dynamics Marketing Power BI, there's some templates available that you can download and essentially connect it to Dynamics Marketing, and that can give you even more powerful reports, and you can then edit and customize the reports. Because remember, guys, the data for marketing is not stored inside your Dynamics instance, it's stored in Azure. So the only way to consume that data is by using something like Power BI or performing a query. And so Microsoft have provided these templates, and there you go. That's it. So what Dilyana is showing there on the screen are the templates that you download, Power BI templates you download. Now, in order to get this to work, guys, you need to configure blob storage. So you need to configure a blob storage in Azure, and then there's a setting. If you go to settings in marketing, there's a setting that you actually add the blob storage link into there. It will populate all the data from Dynamics Marketing into the blob storage, and then it will allow those reports to work. Your reports would connect to that blob storage, and it would allow you to then build custom reports based on that data. So yeah, that's another tip for you there, Gulshan. When it comes to reporting, if you want to access the insight data, you have to do it that way, using blob storage. I hope that again answers your question. But Dilyana, that was a fantastic session. It was like almost 2 hours, wasn't it, Dilyana?
It's okay. I love talking about
Yeah.
marketing.
So there's lots of thanks from Asina saying thanks, for that. Dominique saying excellent, awesome session. Cheryl is saying brilliant session. Gulshan
Thank
is
you,
also saying
guys.
wonderful. So lots of
It was
thanks to
really
you.
good how engaged people work. So that's really appreciated. It always makes it more exciting when people are up for a conversation. So thank you for keeping the conversation going, guys.
Bernard is also saying thank you for your insights. Also, yeah, lots of thanks from the community, Dilyana. And I also have to thank Dilyana as well, because this week we actually did have a lot of cancellations, last minute cancellations, and Dilyana slept up literally within the last day. She literally slept up. So did Neil Parkhurst. So there was a lot of last minute cancellations this week. It looks as though Corona is starting to rise again. It looks like. So I just been catching up with speakers while Dilyana was speaking, and unfortunately they've been admitted to hospital. There was a lot of last minute cancellations this week. So unfortunately, it looks like COVID is coming back. Unfortunately, second wave of COVID is starting to hit. So everyone, please take care of yourself. But Dilyana, do you have any last kind of announcements for the community? Any announcements you want to make?
No, I'm just going to share that I'm going to go to the beach and not do much in the next week, but I'm definitely going to be back and doing loads of community things the week after. So that's probably my only announcement.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
So Dilyana, you've got a blog, haven't you? You've got a
I
blog.
do. Yes, and I'm going to send the slides. So it is, yeah, I'll send the slides and the
Excellent. So if you
details
could share
are
your
in
blog
that.
and your social media, Twitter, LinkedIn in the chat window, I'm sure many people want to follow you. So that'd be really good if you could do that. That'd be really, really good. So yeah, so I'm hoping a lot of people who, because it seems though not many people had experience of Dynamics Marketing who've attended today. So I'm hoping that you've all benefited vastly from this session. and you've all learned a lot from today's session. So again, big thanks to everyone who's attended, and obviously lots still to cover. But again, thanks again to Dilyana for obviously this for today's session. That was really good. And again, we've finished at a perfect time, just at the end of the hour. So there's no more questions. We've answered everyone's questions regarding reporting and everything else. It looks like I'm just checking to see if there's any other questions there. Yeah, Dominique is also confirming that there's been a resurgence of the COVID happening. But yeah, Gulshan saying thank you. Cheryl saying thank you. Learned a lot. Yeah, there you go. So again, thank you, Dilyana, for sharing your link to your blog and your social media so we can connect with you all. Next up, we are now covering, again, on the theme of sales and marketing. We are covering document automation, which is obviously a very important aspect of the whole sales marketing process.